So I guess in that case, we'll start with Minnesota Wild rookies. And I'll just get right into it. Marco Rossi is so good. And we touched on it last week too. Once that first goal went in, I mean, he was already playing.
Wait, the actual goal or the one that got called off?
Yeah, no, the actual one. But I mean, like this year, obviously, everyone talks about, how good of a summer he had, how great, he was last year for Iowa, how he did everything that he was supposed to do, but it still really didn't matter until it started, like the season started, and what actually and like Russo would talk about this too, where he's like, even if he lights it up in the preseason, like it actually, now it just doesn't matter because that's what happened last year.
Right.
And again, like I do think like day one, like game one, he just looked different, like way more aggressive, getting into the hard areas of the ice in the offensive zone too, not just like, defending well or whatever in his own zone, but like actually playing hard hockey. And then, he has that goal taken back, which I was very curious to see. Let's see how he responds to that now. Cause it's like, of course that will not go right for this kid either. But didn't change a thing. Obviously he scored a couple games later. The next game, maybe, I can't remember how many games were in between, but
a game or two after. Yeah.
Since that went in, like I tweeted out that sequence from last night where he's making an interception at his own end, skating the puck up the ice, hanging on to it, flipping it to himself, catching it, putting it back, putting the puck back down, and then hanging on to the puck with guys all over his back who are like 1 foot taller than he is. Not only does he just look like he belongs in the NHL, he's legitimately making a difference on both sides of the puck. And now we're seeing him with Boldy and Kaprizov. And it is, sometimes they will have some flashes, or so there's sequences of play when they're on the ice together in the offensive zone where it is just so electric. It makes you wonder, like, this is like what, a week or two of this, not even like a couple games of those three being together. And it is very exciting to think about. And the fact that, like, realistically, the team hasn't scored fewer goals with Kaprizov and Zuccarello separated. So, but all that to say, really, Marco Rossi has been unbelievable. And even when they've had their ups and downs, at no point could we actually look at Rossi in like any kind of like having anything to do with their, like, the games where they maybe aren't playing great. It has obviously nothing to do with him, and he's just kept on doing his thing.
Well, he's been super steady, and I'll, like, hand up, I was one of the people that's like, just keep him on the third line for a little bit longer. Like, after what had happened, like you said, right, comes in and gets his confidence shattered in the NHL after tearing it up in the preseason. I wanted him to just have a little bit more time to really solidify his confidence before throwing him onto the first line and then having all the expectations and then people immediately react. He didn't miss a fucking beat. It's been great. And now there's no looking back. Like, if you take him off the first line, people might riot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, again, like, what's exciting for me is not just that it's clicking right now. Like, there's still, like, even there's some times where they're still clearly like it, but for the most part, it's working, obviously. And like, this isn't just like a one-off where it's like putting together Eriksson with Boldy and Johansson when that was working right away, like last year. It's obviously very different because Marco Rossi is 21 years old. And he is like, you've drafted him, you've developed him. He's obviously here to stay, and ideally all three of them are. So just the idea of those three playing together for a long time is very exciting. But I mean, I just feel like I was obviously very high on Rossi, and I thought he would be more than fine this year, and he would not be going back down to Iowa. I don't know. Like, I'm not totally shocked by, like, I mean, it's not like he's a point per game or anything like that, but I'm not surprised by like the decent goal scoring here and like the good offensive production. That doesn't really surprise me. It's again, like, specifically that play last night that I tweeted the video of, like, where he is looking like he's actually been a center in the NHL for years now, just like making those heads up smart plays. And as I've said before, it's just very fun for me watching him go from just like eviscerating the OHL. Obviously, he's gone through a lot here, and now that it feels like he's finally made it, and not only just like sticking around with Minnesota, but legitimately being an incredibly important player for them. It's very exciting. So had to start that. Had to start the Minnesota Wild prospect talk with still bringing up Marco.
No, and
Rossi,
who gives
however
a
you want to
fuck?
say it. Until
Call him whatever he wants me to call him now.
Yeah.